Okay. Ye okay. Alton and Dravik. As you guys spend time, it takes the sewers are a very like dense place, but with Alton's guidance and knowing thieves can't of these different markings that are on the sewer walls that mean nothing to you, that are basically like a bunch of different call signs all lined up, and you're like, what the fuck? It looks almost like gibberish, just scrawl on the wall and like hieroglyphics. Alton's able to be like, okay, this way, left, right, go straight at the fork, continues onwards, and you guys finally get to another exit that is roughly 10 minutes west as opposed to east where you guys were traveling, west of Stranger Things. You guys exit out, and there's a brief moment where you guys look outwards, nothing suspicious, and as you guys as you guys walk to the Sweeter Things. Funnily enough, if none of you are dashing, fuck it. As Skara and Lucius walk up to the Sweeter Things, you see Dravik and Alton. Alton's feet covered in muck. All right, but still, they look a little haggard. No, this is after all of that, and you guys have finished that. Or sorry, Agatha and Abius finished that conversation. All the clunks just start going back to the various rooms. The weapons getting folded away. Okay. Okay. All right. At this point, and a few minutes pass before Dravik, Alton, Skara, and Lucius all see each other at the same time, entering it like as you guys are all approaching the Sweeter Things. At which point you guys all look to your right, and there's a pigeon with a blood-soaked beak on the dumpster across from all of you. That looks vaguely familiar to you, Alton and Dravik. That's just sitting there. And you guys all go. Traffic and hold on. As you guys enter the room, there isn't many places you can go. Where do you walk? So as like at you, whose legs are you walking between? Okay, Cupcake can attack if he wants. I don't know if you want to do that, but you watch as Alton just like. Whoop, whoop. You're still hearing it. You're welcome to keep moving or stop if you want. Okay. Dravik walks back. Does Alton walk back, or is Alton just going to his room? Okay. It's, yes, you did. You also heard it. You heard their conversation outside. Okay, suppress incantation. Yeah, so as you're cleaned up instantly. Okay. As hold on. As you're walking to bed, Daisy, in sort of the middle row, also Harfield hands you back your shoe. He's like, I cleaned up the soil. Oh no, yeah, okay, but he cleaned most of it out, and he's like, thank you. Thanks for the safety, you too. Bye. And he goes back upstairs. At what point Daisy's like, we don't. You're right about a lot of things. I know you're gone most of the time, but we don't have to give Alton a room here if he does cause problems. I didn't know that there's this kind of relationship. His family are fine. Alright. Right. Actually, do you want to see what I've been working on? I think you might like it. You see as it's just in case, because everything that thing happened, and you watch as underneath her shirt, she sort of moves like puts her hand behind her back like underneath her shirt, and you hear like a, and she pulls out what looks to be just like this silver rod, and then she, and and it turns into a longsword as it. I'm safe wherever I go. It's fine. Right, well, this is in case I don't have anything else at hand. Just so you're aware, I'm safe, Dad. Even with everyone else. Even with all the clonks, I am safe. It's we. Good night. She'll give you a hug. Okay, and she'll go to bed. Okay. Anyway, Agatat, Dravik, Lucius, Skara. Yes. Okay. All right. As soon as things were safe, they would have went back to their room. But yeah, that's okay. Um. Okay. Okay. As you guys head to the Bard College in the middle of the night. Your window? Yes, if you want it to. Okay. Make a perception check for me. Yep. You get the feeling that the Winter family is awake through all of this, and have been listening to everything. I don't know everyone's room, so we'll say, fucking this one. Or no, sorry. Yeah, it'd probably be this, it would probably be the tiny one, probably right here. Never mind, it'd be this one. That is. Then this room. I don't know everyone's rooms. I haven't, this one, because I don't recall if this one. No, it's okay. I just don't know no one else has customized the room, so I can't tell whose room is who. Other than that, Dobio gets the biggest one. That's all I know. You have the fucking biggest one. You have that one. Yeah, Lucius, I think, is this one. No, Richter's is right here. Oh, okay, yeah. So, guest room here, guest room here. Okay, so we'll say that they're in this one because even though they're a tiny family, that way they have enough space for everything. And there's also another bed that was laid out for Azami. Yeah. She definitely could, but the Klonks would have given her a bed. Yes. Because they're called that. Oh my god. Anyway, no, mostly just their lights on and like the very faint like shuffling of footsteps in their room that like they are awake. One more thing. Alton, you hear a knock at your door. You see your mom, Sapphire, just sort of standing there. Alton, you need to apologize to Mr. Oliver. The words are still important. No, Alton, he has given you a place here? It's less about. Although that is nice, Alton, and that's good. He was expressing he was expressing vulnerability in what he's doing, and you walked away from that. This whole place is so much to him, and you walked away from him explaining that and trying to do that. Alton, coming back when he has cooled off, it assumes that he is unrightfully angry or that he's using his words in an aggressive way, and he wasn't. He was just genuinely disappointed and sad about what you were doing because of how much this whole thing means to him, especially this weekend. Alton, you need to apologize to him now. In addition to what you did. Not because you shot the bird, or whatever happened. but because you didn't listen to him. Go apologize to him. Please, Alton. Jesus. Please. You don't have to say anything fancy. Just say you're sorry. He deserves at least that. Not tomorrow. He needs it tonight, before he falls asleep. What up? What'd you say, Alton? It's just two. You don't need to be perfect in apologizing. You just need to say it. The fact that you're going away to gain the upper hand in this conversation in apologizing is... it's not good. But you're an adult. She just looks up at you. Or no, she was looking down and sort of just looks up, just for like briefly. We like Mr. Olivar and everyone here. I don't care. I don't care. Alton, you're really good at making excuses. And she'll move out to the side. Clonk. Opens the doors. Yeah. Like, 3 or 4 minutes ago, I'd say. Yeah, Gwen. If you are balling something else up, make it a deception check. Otherwise, just make a charisma check or persuasion check. If you're trying to just hide something. Can't double it. You only have one reaction. Yes. Yeah. Amagus is more than likely not hiding anything. Not hiding anything else. Clonk, clonk, clonk walks you out, closes the doors behind you. Yes, giggle. Okay. Oh boy. Pop, 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 pop. Trauma! Hold on. Nice! As you walk upstairs, uh, Sapphire just sees your expression. You apologize. That's the least you can do. That's a step, and she'll give you a hug. I wish I could have been there more when you were growing up. There's a lot you need to learn. But you're doing really good, and better than I thought you ever could be doing. Okay. Good night, Alton. I love you. Don't forget that. She'll head into her room. Okay. Sure! You're gonna make flyers? So you have 2 hours normally where you are not long resting to do that. So during those 2 hours, unless you want to spend more, if you spend more, you either have to spend more time in the morning where you're required to rest, or you or you gain exhaustion and don't get the benefits of long rest. Okay, go ahead and give me a dexterity check. It'll be a calligraphy supplies check, so it'd be just dexterity. So any other, if you're proficient with yes, painters. That's better words. Nice. it's a little difficult to paint at the moment. There's a lot of just feelings that you're going through. You end up more so painting out your feelings than anything else. You start to make posters, but you find yourself getting almost distracted by sort of exaggerating the strokes, and you start, it's more so working through those feelings, but you still do shake your head and you still are trying to help. You do make, I would say, you make about, we'll say, go ahead and roll 3d12 for me. Da 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 ba ba. You just type that in. Okay! You make 32 very well crafted posters. Okay. You sort of sit down, Clonk looks at the papers, looks back at you, picks them up. Alright! No, it's closing the door that Elton opened. As the Clonks sort of just keep general upkeep. Alright! Wow, fun. That was sick. Lucius, Lucius, fucking Skara, and Dravik. You guys are gonna walk to the Bard's College or take a carriage ride? It's roughly like 10 at night. Yeah, like 3 or 4. Walking, it'd be closer to 5 or 6. Yes. So you guys, takes you a little bit, but you call on a carriage. You see this like guy with like sort of like patchy, sort of like gray hair, wide eyes, got like a cup of some drink. Where you going? I'll be 7 copper. Your patron is really appreciated. Get in. So, one of you guys can either do perception or insight, your choice. Then you'll get different results. Okay. All right. So make your according check. All right. Scar is reading. Wonderful. Oh, I can do this. Sick. You're watching him. He takes a lot of sips out of this drink. And he's kind of just like he's a little jittery in his movements, almost slow. But like whenever he's like moving his head, it's like really like rapid eye. Like he's like constantly checking around. But he is leading you in the right direction. He doesn't appear to be taking you anywhere else. Sure, you get the feeling that he's probably drinking some kind of drink that gives energy, and that gives him some kind of energy because it's very late at night. He appears to be drinking a lot of it at an alarming rate. You watch him refill it 3 or 4 times with a jug that he kind of just had like next to the horses. That he kind of like. Yeah, there you go. All right. So from what you can tell from this individual is just that he is doesn't ask a lot of questions. it doesn't actually talk at all and is just leading you guys in the direction. You get the feeling he's probably like, it's some kind of guy to do night carriage shifts in the Golden City where people die and sell drugs all the time. So, like, he's gotta be some kind of guy, but you don't think he's gonna murder you or take you in an alleyway or anything like that. He sticks by the main roads. There you go. Alrighty. So, you guys head on over to the Bard's College. Safe and sound. Very late at night now. Anything else y'all need? I got bills to pay. Imported. Imported from the Dragon Isles. It's called Fuse. Bye-bye. And he just takes off. Make an intelligence check. Sure. You have not heard of Fuse before. It's just intelligence. Sure, as you're like, what the fuck? As you try and ascertain what he is drinking. Why do you have advantage or disadvantage? Roll again. Actually, never mind. That's the same roll. Doesn't matter. No. You have no idea. Even with the D4, not enough. But you don't know. And he just drives off. You never once got his name either. He didn't ask any questions or say anything about himself. He just went off. I'd say a decent amount. It's like a good 3 hours of reading. So what were you reading? Oh, okay. Which book is this? Oh, okay. So it takes a long time before you find anything in the book. You don't have to make an investigation check. I'm just going to use all the previous rolls for that, just because it's fine. It's mostly about the culture of Faenera. It's a lot less. The only thing that you do get is that this author doesn't seem to know a lot about the Unshackled, and from their visit, hasn't heard of them other than through stories orally told. That there were never any personal encounters, that they weren't seen as a big threat. That was about it. Okay, so you guys get to the Bard's College. So, I mean, alright. I would say during that you'd be keeping your eye on the carriage owner, but still. So you guys arrive at the Bard College. It is open. Okay. You go in. It looks like there's no one there. Then emerge from the shadows, you see a familiar tiefling figure with a bone flute in his hand, just arms crossed, looking at you. Good to see you again. We're doing okay. Personally think this festival's worthless, but brings in a lot of new recruits. Things have been difficult. We're trying to find another muse for glamour, but kinda hard to fill the footsteps of Elena. Okay. Okay. One moment. I gotta really quickly read something. Spell, magic, DC. Go. You casting it at third level? Okay. At fourth level, you guys watch. You wouldn't know that he's running over and casting a spell. He just walked over, and then is while he was talking to this to Kale, like eye raised, he's walking over and then just casting. I would say there's not enough reaction time to going on with enough context clues to be like, ah, yes, guidance. But the spell magic goes through. You guys watch as there's a warp in sort of the air, and out of nowhere, a large chest about this big, this tall, just falls to the ground. And Kale's kind of like, um, uh, it is a chest. Um, hold on, does Kale have knock? He does not. Kale just sort of, yeah, he sort of just looks confused at it, sort of kicks the chest a little bit. It has some weight to it. Uh, it is locked. Hold on. Do you think this is from Elena? Okay, wait. Dispel magic on it once more. It probably has a charm on it. Okay. Mega spellcasting ability check. Oh wait, actually, never mind. Never mind. No. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You cast a spell. You feel what you see the magic come through, and that is about it. Yes. Kale will. You watch as he sort of kneels down and produces thieves' tools, and he will actually try and pick the lock. Okay. He does just briefly nods. So that is 16. You watch him, and he opens up the chest, and you see arms and legs broken and twisted inwards to fit within the chest. The body of Elena, as she looks battered and scraped and cut, blood almost pooling at the bottom of the chest as it looked like she had forced herself into the chest. Both of her arms are dislocated and broken, as well as her legs, so she could fit within it. As Kale's like, there's the body. I'll wake up Colborne. And he goes upstairs. Make a medicine check. Yep. Sure, you guidance and begin to look over her wounds. 18. From the looks of it, and from judging from the amount of blood loss and how she is moving, you get the feeling she's probably been dead, or at least, yeah, she's probably been dead for about, strangely, 6 hours. Did you pull her out of the chest? Okay, yeah. So as you push the chest over, blood is now spilled out. As was probably roughly 30-40% of her blood is now just slowly like spreading out the entirety of it as it's a massive amount of blood. Okay, you slowly start calcification, and you get the feeling her body has very little blood within her, and she sort of flops onto the ground and sort of her arms and legs at these sort of strange angles as she's just on the floor, just dead. Dravix just look. Oh, Dravix. Sorry, let me describe her. You see, you see an Eladrin before you of the spring, wearing sort of these beautiful, sort of almost like leaf-like dress that's very like sort of shorter skirt that's sort of fluffed out, and she has this. At once was an elaborate sort of leathers that's made out of these leaves, and sort of this like bouncy sort of like pixie cut green that turns to yellow almost hair. You can tell she's an Eladrin immediately. And she is dead, and you can see she has many scratch marks or blade marks across her chest, across her neck. One that goes from the cheek down, opens up at her jugular, and then goes down to the collarbone. And again, all of her arms are just broken and dislocated. Okay. Unfortunately, does not work on undead or constructs. I would say this is this is flesh that is no longer living. As you cast the spell, it does not appear to stitch the flesh up. At which point, Kale is walking down as you see Colborn sort of walk down as well. Dravik, you see an older individual, older human, sort of a larger sort of gray beard, sort of hair sort of pulled back as well. This wizened old man wearing sort of very basic sort of almost like robes. And you can see he come down and he's like, Lucius, oh my god. We do, and you see as Colborn sort of raises his hand, sort of whispering a few arcane words, and is going to cast Calm Emotions on Skara. Okay, so you hear yourself calm down. You can revive this woman. We can make rooms for you. Usually we don't have rooms during the harrowing, but we can make rooms. It's good to see you, Lucius. And sort of looks down. Thank you again for clearing out that safe house. We probably wouldn't have had a place to go without it. As he looks down at Elena. Poor Elena, I was wondering where she went. And he sort of like looks, he sort of looks over her. That spell is not meant to contain creatures. She must have been smart. She did it probably before she had died, set up a trigger so that way she no longer counted as a creature but as an object. As he's kind of just looking over like, did not know she had that determination. Kayla kind of just like leaning over. That means she would have broken her legs and arms before she had died willingly. Well, let's move the body. Okay, you watch as Colborn sort of whispers a few words as a massive purple hand appears from nowhere and then slowly sort of picks Elena's corpse up and sort of just floats with it. I don't believe we met. I'm Colborn. I'm Colborn Arcani. Arcani. I'm one of the 5 muses of the Gathering of Wandering Muses. I apologize. This is such strange circumstances. I assume you're a friend of Lucius. Well, welcome to the Gathering of Wandering Muses. We are the place where we are bards gather and share songs and poems. This was one of our muses, as he gestures towards Elena. She has unfortunately, well, you can see for yourself. We were attacked. You're welcome to stay with Lucius. Friends of Lucius are friends of ours. After all, we have helped each other in the past. She'll be in. Colburn sort of turns to Kale, and Kale's like, I am used to dead bodies. Put her in my room. And Kale just walks up. Also, I forgot to describe Kale to you. Kale is a sort of red tiefling wearing blackened leather armor that's sort of filled with like straps and sort of tightly fitted. And he has two daggers and what looks to be a bone flute that he kind of just has strapped in that he occasionally pulls out. But yeah, Kale doesn't seem to care about giving any welcomes or names. He just moves up as Colborn follows with Elena's body. All right. As you guys begin to take a long rest, so many things are happening that I did not think you guys would do at this moment. Holy shit, you guys. Awesome, but like, holy shit. No, it's okay. It's fine. It's awesome. Skara, as you spend your time meditating, as all this shit's in reading as you take the long rest, go ahead and make me a religion check with disadvantage considering everything that's been going on. As you find yourself in a familiar place of gaining knowledge, as you are able to finally rest, but go ahead and make me a religion check with disadvantage. You can use your wisdom modifier for this. So basically, make a wisdom check, add your proficiency bonus. So whatever you have, you cannot guidance for this. Are you proficient in religion? Okay, so then just make a wisdom check with your proficiency bonus. Okay, can do. Okay. You go ahead. As you feel once again in the state of meditation, you sort of take that deep breath as you are gaining sort of this knowledge. A familiar scent of an old library hits you once more. A place filled with ancient knowledge that beckons an older and simpler time, when it was just reading, obtaining, and learning more and more without any of the worries of the outside world. You feel you could be drawn to this ancient library once more, if you choose. Okay. As you breathe in this scent, taking a deep breath, you feel your consciousness almost begin to fade ever so slightly and shift. Your body feels as light as a feather, and it's almost as if you feel like you're leaving your body behind. Like a great weight is lifted from your shoulders, and there's a very vague sense of vertigo and nausea before you find yourself in a new place. As you look around and open your eyes, you find yourself in again what looks to be an ancient library. The familiar scent of old books and ancient paper fills the air, with beautifully colored woods beneath you and endless bookshelves that reach up and up and up and up, so high that it looks like you're looking at a vertical horizon that almost looks like it slowly twists into infinity. You feel energy crackle between your fingertips, and you notice that you are you, and you are yourself, but not entirely. Your form is vaguely translucent, glowing a soft silver, with a vibrantly silver cord that is taut from the center of your chest, and as your eyes follow the silver cord starting at your chest, it makes its way behind you, and you can see it twists and turns beyond all of the bookshelves and out of sight. All throughout this library, you can see are what looks to be fragments of scrolls with an archaic and unknown runic language, the edges and runes glowing a soft blue as they almost float between the books and upwards into infinity. There's a flash of the all-knowing eye of Ayun, and a familiar voice comes to you. Skara, my chosen, how far you've come. I bring you closer to my library once more, to give you a glimpse of what once was. The abomination that hunts you, although primal and blinded by its vengeance, beholds the pinnacle of drow experimentation. It learns, just as we do, and I fear of what may come next. You shall not be prepared for. Sure. It's okay. I bring you closer to my library once more, to give you a glimpse of what once was. The abomination that hunts you, although primal and blinded by its vengeance, beholds the pinnacle of drow experimentation. It learns, just as we do, and I fear of what may come next, and that you shall not be prepared for it. I grant you a vision, an extension of my knowledge, but I warn you, this knowledge is not free, and the price of gaining visions of the past will cost you and your body greatly. Upon hearing this, you see one of the ancient tomes slowly push out of the bookshelves, glowing a very soft red, and another from behind you slowly push out from one of the bookshelves, glowing a very soft silver, a more familiar and safer color. Okay. As you pick up the red book, you feel your consciousness begin to wane as your vision distorts and you find yourself standing in a dimension of nothing but white. There's no sense of space, and it is just white in every direction, before a mist rolls in and a fog begins to coat your eyes and you begin to see glimpses of something. A scene, a fragment in time. As it comes further into focus, you see around you dark black rocks, crags of something black, with streams of lava moving between these rocks as you see ash fall from the sky. You see a figure kneeling down upon these crags as you watch as it looks like multiple, almost 5 or 6 wisps, almost like streams of pieces of flesh in the silvery liquid, flows into this familiar figure, regrowing parts of this horrendously mutated, blackened flesh that's attached to an adamantite skeleton. You see Virgil sitting there, trench coat on the floor, as it almost looks like he is slowly beginning to regenerate some of the body that has left him. You see him grimacing, just sitting there, before there's a brief flash of energy as you see a familiar drow priestess step into the view. You see, wearing her sort of half-plate ceremonial garb that sort of flows down into a long flowing purple and silver dress with a circlet that has opalescent jewels at the top as she floats, holding what looks to be almost a massive appendage of a spider, Lelis. Beside her, you see this horribly malformed Dragolith, similar to the ones you have fought, but of skin coloration. You can see with bulging human eyes that sort of just breathing heavily as if its existence is almost a pain to it. Virgil immediately sort of begins to stand up, and you watch as the bonnet blade appears in his hand once more. Lilith just waves her hand to the side. If I wanted to kill you, it would have happened long ago. Virgil just letting the blade clatter to the floor as he sits back down, letting sort of those streams sort of flow into him. What do you want? You're bad at your job. You killed my scientists, and yet you still fail to even make a dent upon this itch on my back. And Virgil just grimaces and says nothing. But I see you've made friends, and you see her look around to something that the vision doesn't quite grasp. Almost like the places where these streams of silver and flesh bits are drawing from. They were weak, and I work alone. A battery now serves its purpose. And she kind of there's a very small smirk. An interesting use, but a waste of good blood. I want to give you a gift, and she says with a soft smile, as Virgil just looks up, not trusting it at all, and raises an eyebrow. And you watch as she, with almost lightning fast, she reaches out as her fingernails dig into the Dragolith's chest as it pierces the skin, and she pushes her hand deep within it as the Dragolith sort of screams out in pain, and she rips out the heart of this creature as it falls to the ground. And she takes her staff, sort of basically sort of raises it in a circle, whispering a few arcane incantations as it is immediately sort of with a flash of energy grows back its sort of wound and sort of coughs and sort of stands back up. She sort of tosses the heart to him, which he grabs. The point of this? A one-way ticket for you and your friends. Again, Virgil says, I work alone. She sort of smiles. No, for now you do, but I think I want to give you one last thing, one last try at these adventures. And you watch as she sort of flashes her hand, and you see a glass cylinder with this black mist that floats inside of it with red specks. And she just tosses it towards him. Virgil now grabbing it, having the heart and a glass canister of this black, thick smog/mist with red glowing bits inside of it. Looks up confused. I made a deal with some friends. I gave them some drow. They gave me some interesting reagents. I believe your friends, and she sort of looks at again, where your vision is sort of cut off. Sorry, your batteries could be mutated further and could create some useful allies. On the day of the harrowing, that heart can be used to transport you to the material plane. Not just you, but a few others as well. Use those batteries for more than just batteries. You should know that the more you have, the more powerful you are. You obviously can't do it alone, despite how powerful you think you are. So do me this one last favor, and I won't kill you. And if you do succeed, well, I'll have plenty of more work for you. And you see Virgil sort of just holding this glass canister in his hand. What do I need to do with this? She again looks over at the things that are cut off. They look mostly intact, missing parts of them. Given the nature of this place, push them together. Release that mist upon them. You'll find friends soon made. Simple. Doesn't require any more of my scientists for you to lash out against. Virgil kind of just nods. Won't be able to regenerate. Well, then I hope you'll succeed this time. Besides, I don't seem to be doing that much damage to you. And there's, no, didn't come out. There's sarcasm in her voice as she points at all of the wounds that are slowly healing. And you watch as she just takes a finger and moves upwards as a rip within reality is made. Please don't disappoint me. It's been far more disappointing, and I am incredibly busy. I don't have time for this anymore. And she walks into the portal, as well as whatever the abomination was following her, and as your vision, basically almost like watching glass begin to crack, it shatters before you, and you are shunted back to reality. I need you to make a sanity saving throw, actually. Yeah, so just go ahead and go again. Just straight roll. Nope. You wake up as you feel this was the extent to your clerical abilities granted to you earlier. And as it does, you immediately feel this sense of draining as it happens to you. In doing so, you gain 3 levels of exhaustion. And you are now awakened. It is the end of your long rest. You have gained the benefits of long rest, but you have 3 levels of exhaustion, as your mind was pushed to the limit. So hold on. I believe there's now a counter where you can put 3. So you have disadvantage on ability checks, speed is halved, disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws. So, but you can prepare spells as you wish if you want a greater restoration, any of them away. But you wake up and you're like, oh, as you feel your body almost like come back to, as it was an extremely draining experience from the entirety of your core. The rest of you wake up with the benefits of a long rest. Yay. Knowledge. Hold on. I believe it is. No, it's not there. It's not resurrection. Raise dead. Okay. All right. It appears that Kale, as you walk into the room, the door is locked, but as you sort of fiddle with the lock, it opens. And you see Kale's across from the room, just still standing, sort of leaning against the door frame. And you see Elena is sort of on now an elevated sort of like cot, with her hands like sort of like on her side as she looks somewhat presentable. Her wounds dressed and at least cleaned a little bit. Um, Okay. Yeah, so it lasts an hour. So during this time, this is a resurrection challenge. If any of you attempt to do anything, you guys can offer to contribute to the ritual by offering a contribution skill check, based on how impactful or helpful you want to be. So it could be trying to yell at the gods to bring her soul back. It could be trying to basically prey upon her, trying to sort of do something that was representative of something that was important to Elena, but you guys aren't very close to her, so most of these checks will be very difficult. You cannot make any of these. You're the one performing the ritual. Hmm. Yeah, and he'll sort of come back, and you watch as Cragthumb, Flynn, and Colborn come back in. Dravik, you see a halfling and a dwarf. The halfling kind of looks cocky, looks like wearing like swashbuckler's gear. The dwarf is just like this thick, stocky dwarf, like kind of like comes in. Sort of, they all sort of look at Elena's body. Up to 3 people can make a contribution. Okay. At which point, sort of, Colburn will kind of be like, I think that should be for us. No offense, but I don't think you know Elena. Um, Kale will kind of just like, I'll do something. So it'll Kale, Colborn, and Lucius. Lucius, you're the first on the Resurrection Skill Challenge. What do you want to do? Mm-hmm. Make a persuasion check. I'll put that at a medium check. A medium difficulty. So we'll see if you can succeed on this. Nope. Again, it's only 3 people. Okay. As you sort of state that and say that there's no more fun to be had, and there's that knowledge. At which point, sort of, Colborn will sort of walk forward. He'll sort of pull out a violin, and he'll begin to play this somber and beautiful piece that slowly transitions into a beautiful piece that sort of it becomes uplifting, as he's going to attempt to perform for her. And you can see that the performance is laced with magic, and there's an intense feeling within it that it causes intense emotion in all of you. So Coburn, we'll make a so he doesn't get super high for this. Okay, got that as another success. And then Kale and sort of step back, and Kale will kind of just walk forward, look back at everybody. He genuinely looks nervous. Elena, our time was short. I wish for more time with you. I'm sorry. I miss you. And you watch as he briefly begins to speak in a different language. Do any hold on. Do any of you know Thieves' Cant? Okay, so first, does anyone know Infernal? he is speaking in infernal but nonsensical. You get the feeling he's speaking in infernal in thieves' cant. Um, you get the but make an insight check for me. I don't have this written down. I would have written this down, but it's fine. Yeah, insight. Awesome. Okay, you don't understand the words, but you get the feeling from the raw emotion he shows upon his face and the tears that are slowly streaming down his eyes. Um, he was deeply in love with Elena, and this is probably a poem that he has held on for her for the longest time. And he's genuinely wants to bring her back. Okay, so you see he's saying the statement. You can see that tears are streaming down his face as he does so with just this raw, intense emotion. But none of you can understand it. Okay, and then he's gonna. Nope, you have not. You have never. Oh my god, how perfect. Um. Okay. And you watch as Scara finishes this ritual and sort of raises her hand upwards to the sky. I need you to make a wisdom ability check. The DC has no, just Scara. You cannot, nope. You just make a wisdom ability check. The DC is decreased because there were three successful attempts to bring Elena's spirit back. Okay. And as you sort of reach down and you're channeling all of your divine energy into Elena, you watch as her wounds begin to stitch up, and you watch as her bones begin to realign. And there's a brief moment where you all are holding your breath before she opens her eyes and grins. Hi. And she sits up, looks at Kale, and she says, "You like me?" And Kale just turns around, goes invisible, and just disappears. Oh no. Thank you guys. Wow, I was not expecting to be brought back. Thank you so much. Oh my god! And you watch as she like flashes away immediately using some magic. Dravik, this is face step, and she face steps right in front of you and grabs your hand. Hi, I didn't know there would be another Ladrin here. Hello, I am Elena. It's a pleasure to meet you. Oh my god, it's been so long since I've seen one. What season are you tuned to? Elena was found and revived. Revived. Yeah, she cannot. Liamon's tiny hut or tiny chest only allows it so that way you can store objects in it. She knew this, but knew she was going to die, but wanted to preserve her body, so she broke her legs and arms and casted the spell beforehand in preparation. And then, as she died, basically put herself in the chest to be shunted away where time would be slowed, so she could hopefully be revived. Mm-hmm. No. Yeah, guys don't know. Fall? Do you say fall? Okay. She's like, ooh, that's, not bad, not bad. At least you're not winter, so glum. And she sort of takes her, like, cheek and sort of pinches it really, like, for a small second. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. And she turns back and Colburn's like, you've been dead for weeks and you immediately are just like, looks up and down like, how do you have, well, I have a lot of time to make up. It's the Herring Festival, isn't it? Oh my god! And you watch as she just begins skipping downstairs, and Colburn's like, thank you. Yeah. Corbin's like, thank you so much. You can stay here as long as you want. I need to. Okay. Looks over at Scar like we should help Scara. At which point, Abagus, you have woken up bright and early in the morning. Okay, and you walk outside your room, and on your table is a stack of flyers. Sure, we can say that you do. Yeah. So at this point, you have gathered everybody, assuming to make the trip. Um, at which point, uh, the Thatch will have sort of left the room and sort of approached all of you all. Hey, we heard a little bit of what was going on last night. Would it be safer for us to stay here? I understand. Thatch, I don't mean to interrupt. Can I can I look not at your workshop, but at the workshop you have in here? This is Thatch talking to you. Can I see the workshop? Not yours, not yours. I don't mean. Thank you so much. Yeah, yeah. And he could like you see him like get like a slow grin on his face. All right. I just want to see where the magic happens, if it will. Right. I'm sure Zami will understand, and you have such a big presence. People love your events. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to wait a few days. If anything it'll open up doors for the students that have graduated from at past the first of Varzal. Days will kind of nod. Yes, Skara's not here. No, at this point, as you guys are sort of doing, you watch as Richter just like comes downstairs. What are we doing? Honestly, I don't quite remember. There was this guy with a fucking plague doctor. Okay. I believe it was. Right. Yeah, they can be issued commands by others if you give them the ability to. At which point, I think the sending from Lucius comes through. Nice. As you guys, okay, as you open the doors, directly across, there are 6 crows standing on a dumpster. 6 pigeons that are just staring at you, Agatha. Yeah. Yeah, you open the door. 6 pigeons. Uh, It is directly in the middle. The rest of them kind of like jump back, and it kind of like. Oh, all right. And you guys begin to head towards. You guys. Okay. Sure. You can give with primitive awareness. You can communicate basic ideas. So you give them like keep an eye out, and like you watch as they're all like. They'll just. They all just like expectantly stare at you. Okay. Yes. Uh, you have adamantite half plate, which is not a +1. Yeah. How much does half plate give? Shit. Okay, so 15 minus 1, 14. So your AC. Yeah. What are your current infusions? Because I think you now have one extra infusion, don't you? Ooh? No, no, no. That's attunement. It gives you one extra infusion. No, I'm not. So you can infuse another item. Okay. So you have Boots of Flying. I don't. Do you have the attunement slot for that? How many attunement items can you have now? One. So you have Iron Stone, Belt, Infusion, Apprentice, Light Fleet Staff. That's 5. Winged Boots are attunement. Okay. But resistant armor is also attunement. Okay. Did you also want to do enhanced defense on your armor? Yes? I think so. Alright, so then you have an AC of yeah, so 14, that's plus 2, and then the Brass Haven shield is plus 3, plus 5. Yeah, 21. 21. Your AC is 21. Just double checking. Okay, nice. With a minus 1 dex. It's hilarious is because all those pluses are nullified by Unshackled. Okay, anyway, you guys head on over to... Okay, are you getting a carriage? Okay, we'll say it's 4 copper. Sort of just get this chipper sort of halfling man and be like, "Hello, going to the festival?" That's Yeah, that's around the area. That's in the festival. Thank you very much, sir. I'll go as fast as I can. And it is a bumpy ride as you guys eventually sort of meet up back with everyone else as you guys all reconvene at the gathering of wandering muses. Ow. So you guys are back. Welcome back. Lem- yeah. So you guys can move yourselves. This is the Gathering of Wandering Muses is technically like right here. It's larger, but we'll just say for the purposes of this is where the entryway is and where the mainstay is. You can see that it's already in full effect as people are beginning to move around and sort of do their things, and everyone is out there. Okay. You can change into one of the humanoids that you've killed with it, and no one can tell that you are anyone else. You perfectly emulate that person. You have. It's in your stats because it happened when I killed someone for you. Under your bio, you killed the Drow Arachnomancer. So you can turn into a Drow. As you guys make your way through the festival, you guys see, strangely, Elena is running through, making friends, sort of playing her violin, and just going out and like talking to different people. She has a -4 to I think all of her fucking checks, but she is still going hard. She's You watch to see, teleports on top of a roof, and it begins doing a beautiful performance, and people are sort of gathering around and sort of clapping along. Um, it was ripped open, and she begins sort of playing this enthralling performance, charming people as people sort of are clapping and sort of singing along as everyone is happy, and it's awesome. Okay, so you begin to put up flyers. Okay, yeah. So you see some people kind of like, oh, like a few people look disappointed, but they're like, it's still going on, man. It's fucking, it's the candy thing, dude. It's gonna happen every year. It's just little people. Some people like reassure other people sort of like sad about it, but stuff. Oh, also on the way to the festival, I forgot. You guys kind of hear like the ding of bell, king, king, king. Hear ye, hear ye! Curse from the air strikes nobleman in the foot. Foot is now broken as meteor from the sky. Strange thundering noise is heard during the night. Nope, just noblemen. You guys like go down a few blocks, you hear another crier. Noble families cursed from the air. The night brings about thunder, cloudless thunder. You see, like go down a little further. Conspiracy! Noble have tried out new mage killers, creating thunder in the middle of the night that have strucken down individuals. Bodies never found. Stay indoors. King, 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 king. You're gonna jump out of the carriage and walk up to him. Yeah, because this is the time as you guys are traveling back. Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, you don't hear this. The town criers don't happen in the festival. They're on the rest of the town. So you guys are unaware of the town criers, but the rest of you get that wonderful information. All right, you guys are now at the festival, and you guys have all met together once more. Scar looks like shit. We're gonna be ending at 5. Oh yeah. I mean, a lot can be done in 7. Well, depending, because I don't depends on what I think probably good time for you guys to set up a plan on what you guys want to do exactly, and then what you're doing with Skara, or if Skara explains what she saw. A lot of stuff can happen. So continue. Okay. You hear her performing, and you sort of go around the corner, and she is basically on this rooftop, gathering a small crowd and performing. Okay? Okay. And you watch as she's playing a duplicate, like she sort of steps away and she's still playing as another version of her has stepped out, and she sort of jumps and skips and sort of comes on back to the Bard College as everyone else is like, whoa, as there's a copy of her playing and continuing to perform. As she sort of skips on back, walks by you, Lucius, and sort of just gives you a little pinch on the cheek and be like, thank you, by the way, there's a lot of more fun to be had. He's really active today. He's like around and talking. And she skips back inside. Yep, that is correct. Yes. Yep. So then go ahead and place yourselves on the map where you guys want to be keeping vision of everybody, as you guys have a massive do 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 roughly I think 200 plus feet. Yeah, you still can. Yeah. You want to get it. You have the feeling that it's sold and it only works when it's drunken in the large quantity that it is. You have to drink the whole mug for it to have an effect on you. It's a gold. Yeah, so currently you guys are scattered around from like where you guys were last session. You guys were in the wherever you guys were last session before I swapped you. So it's I think Agatha and Iggy and Alton are. Oh, let me fucking get rid of Alton. Hold on. Beep. But yeah, you guys, Lucius, Dravik, Agatat, where the fuck is Dobio? Hold on, let me fucking pull him in then. Right. He was missing. He was missing. He was missing. Let me fucking plop Dobio in. Uh, come on, Dobio. Up here! Huzzah! Okay. I don't know where he is. But that's fine. We'll go ahead and just resume this next session as you guys have begun to basically set yourselves up and begun a day of watching during the festival in bated breath of whatever may happen. Alright! Holy shit, you guys. Jesus. Nice! That was cool. Yes! Yes! I didn't know what you guys were gonna. I thought I thought you guys were yeah, guns exist. Mm. Shot a pigeon and fucking drama and sadness and like serious a whole plethora of things. It's just like holy shit. Holy fuck you guys. Nice. Yeah. Actually 2,000 gold pieces worth of drugs. Drugs and pigeons. Drugs, pigeons, and trauma.